All right, more special circumstances. If you submit your FAFSA without parental information, then you will not have a calculated EFC. So in order to determine how much you should be able to get, you must follow up with the financial aid office at the college you plan to attend. So they can help you override some things and calculate an EFC for you. Only your financial aid office at the college has the authority to decide whether you must provide parental information. So individual colleges will help you with that. So once your documentation is reviewed, if you do indeed have a special circumstance, the financial aid office will decide if you must provide that parental information or not. We just went through that one. If a student is homeless, then we can help you with that also. But just come to me so I can help work through that. Verification. 1/3 of the FAFSAs get selected for verification by the Department of Education. You can also get chosen for verification through an individual college. So if you are selected, you must provide the following information to each school. The verification worksheet, and each school's worksheet is a little different. You must provide a tax return transcript if you filed taxes for 2018. W-2s for the parents and student if you worked in 2018 but didn't file taxes. And verification of a non-filing letter for parents who did not file in 2018. And this is not needed for dependent students. There is a way in the FAFSA that you can use IRS data retrieval. And it is so easy. When you get to that point, you click on a button that says IRS data retrieval. You'll fill in some information, and then it will pull your tax information directly from the IRS website into the FAFSA, so you don't have to fill that part in. It's really easy, and it makes the FAFSA so much easier to use. If you use the data retrieval tool, then you don't have to provide a tax return transcript. And it will tell you all this when they flag you for verification. You can get a tax return transcript on the IRS website, and it's pretty easy. You can do an account online, or you request that it be mailed to you. Either way. You can look at this. This PowerPoint will be available online also, so you can go back and look through it. Head of household. This is a little confusing sometimes on the FAFSA. If you are married, your parents cannot file taxes with a head of household filing status. So if your parents are considered unmarried, then they can file head of household. This is a mistake on a lot of FAFSAs, that it doesn't allow it to go through. So point out that if marital status and tax filing status conflict, there is a higher chance of being selected for verification. Okay, financial aid administrators at colleges aren't required to be tax experts, but the Department of Education requires that the financial aid administrators know the requirements of filing statuses and when an individual can and cannot file for head of household. So if you filed head of household incorrectly, then you have to amend your 2018 taxes in order to receive financial aid. We haven't had that many students have this issue, so it shouldn't be a problem. If you haven't but will file your 2018 taxes, you must verify that you actually did when you actually do file, or the student cannot receive financial aid. Okay, and some students tend to email information that should not be emailed because the email is not secure. Students should not send their Social Security numbers and other identity-related information via email. Schools usually have preferred ways to receive sensitive information, usually uploaded on a specific website, which is secure. So check with your school before you email, dates of birth, social security numbers, things like that. So next we'll get into federal financial aid programs. And these are just some of the programs that the federal government offers. Federal Pell Grants for 2019 and 20. They were increased a little bit the year before, but the maximum expected financial contribution for Pell eligibility increased to $5,487, but this year's has not been established yet. So we estimate that it'll probably be the same, $5,486 to be eligible for a Pell Grant. So students have a maximum number of semesters that they can receive a Pell Grant. It is the equivalent of 12 full-time semesters. So you can get a Pell Grant in the summer, which is different than the last few years. Students can attend on a year-round basis. It serves as an incentive to complete your degree on time and not go to school for 10 years. So you still have the 12 full-time semester limit. A Teach Grant. If you are planning to be a teacher, you can get a Teach Grant. If then you decide your junior year, no, I'm not going to be a teacher, then the grant becomes a loan that you would have to pay back. And there is a service requirement for the Teach Grant. So you have to work in a specific type of school, which Felicity would qualify as one of those schools, in order to be eligible for the Teach Grant. Some campus-based programs, these come from the colleges themselves. The Federal Supplemental Education Opportunity Grant and Federal Work Study. So work study, if a student gets a job on campus and they have qualified for work study, the money goes directly to the student. It is not applied to the student's tuition bill. So that's something I tell students to just count that as your extra money, not count that as paying your tuition, and they will get a paycheck. Okay. Undergraduate or graduate students are eligible for work study. The employment can be on campus or off campus in some situations. They have to be paid minimum wage, but a lot of times it is more than minimum wage. And there is a difference between work study and work or employment on an award letter. Work study, they have to qualify through financial aid, federal financial aid. The federal SEOG grant, if you qualify for a Pell Grant, they take those students with the lowest EFC and then they qualify for a federal SEOG grant. It's from $100 to $4,000 depending on when the student applies. The sooner you apply for financial aid, the more money is available. And that comes actually from the school. Then we go into loans. There are two different types of financial aid loans, subsidized and unsubsidized. Subsidized are need-based and the interest is fixed. It was a couple years ago 5.05%, but that changes yearly. Interest on a subsidized loan is deferred while the student is in school, so they do not have to pay the interest while they're in school, and it does not accrue interest. Unsubsidized, which is not based on financial need, so almost every student will qualify for a federal unsubsidized loan. The interest is fixed again, but interest accrues from the time that they send the money to the school. So you are paying interest while you're in school. And then we go to some different direct loans. A Parent Plus loan. This is a loan to the parents and not the student. The loan limits are up to the cost of education minus any financial aid received. And when you're completing the financial aid form, you do not have to decide whether you're going to get a Parent Plus loan or not. It just asks you on the form whether you would like it. and it will ask you whether you want the payments deferred while the student is in school, or if you want to pay it while they are in school. You can also get a student financial aid loan from a bank. A lot of students do this. It's in the student's name, but most of the time, since students don't have credit, they need to have a cosigner. So that is also another good way to be able to pay for school. Then we have some state aid programs. So, Ohio College Opportunity Grant. To be eligible, you must live in Ohio, file the FAFSA, attend an Ohio public school, main campus, attend an Ohio private school, nonprofit, or for-profit. Okay, the deadline is October 1st of the year that they are receiving the aid. So it would be October of next year. There's Ohio College Opportunity Grant, and they reach this eligibility based on your EFC also. The Nursing Education Assistance Loan Program. You really need to look into this one before you get it. If you think you're going to be a nurse and you change your mind, it's sort of like the TEACH grant. It does become an unsubsidized loan. There's the Ohio War Orphan Scholarship. And the application deadline for this is May 15th of each year. You must apply between the ages of 16 and 24, be an Ohio resident, enrolled full-time undergraduate, and pursuing an associate or bachelor's degree. And it is for children of deceased or severely disabled Ohio veterans. The Ohio National Guard Scholarship. Full-time award is 96% of tuition, but you are a member of the National Guard, which requires 2 weeks in the summer and 1 weekend every month. So this is a good opportunity. The Safety Officers Memorial Scholarship, dependents and spouses of safety officers killed in the line of duty. The Choose Ohio First, back up, there we go. Choose Ohio First is for various programs in the STEM field, and individual awards vary from school to school. They will let you know if you're eligible for those. Students who are in foster care can receive up to $5,000 a year for qualified school-related expenses. So you must be a U.S. citizen, you must have less than $10,000, must be 18 but younger than 20 to apply for the first time. And so if you have been in foster care before you were 18, then I can help walk you through that. Okay, so this is the end. If you have questions, please email me at bairdk, B-A-I-R-D-K, @felicityohioschools.org, and I will have a frequently asked questions section on the financial aid page of our school's website. Thank you for your attention.